Welcome back to the building block session of DNS protocol or building concepts related to the protocol. Let me explain with the simple example with you. Here you can see that this user open the web browser and type www.howto.com or xyz.com, but in the initial stage you can find that here we can easily identify a simple protocol which is called HTTPS, which is used for the purpose of browsing. Initially we are using the protocol HTTP, but HTTP was not secure. A number of hackers can track down the traffic, web browsing traffic, and they can get the data. So that's why right now we are using HTTPS for the purpose of security. And before it you can see that here we use the log sign which mention about the security. And in the second image, in the second image, if you go like this, here you can see that in the second image you can also track down here. There is no HTTPS, but still this log sign mentioned that now we are browsing with the help of HTTPS, which means hypertext transfer protocol secure, which transferring the file, which transferring the browsing data, but it will be completely encrypted. It will be completely in that format which is totally not accessible for any hacker. So that's why we are using the HTTPS. But for moreover, if you want to explore the protocols, because our more focus on this example is about the DNS, which is another important type of protocol. So why we are here on the web browser, we put the name cisco.com, and within a few seconds we get the data about the cisco.com, about the Twitter, about the Facebook, about each and every website which exists in the internet city, so we can easily access that site. But a question raises in my mind that when we are thought about the IT industry, or specifically in the computer industry, we know that all our computers, laptops and desktop machines are working on binary data. They are just understand ones and zeros, or they are just handling ones and zeros kinds of data. So why we can easily access this cisco.com? Because behind the scene there are a number of stories which we can explore. When we implement this cisco.com server, we definitely put an address on it like this. If I can mention you over here, we use another protocol. Here we use like this kind of IP address, 10.10.0. Sorry, can use another address, 12.12.12.1. okay, this address is called the IP address, and IP stand for internet protocol. So hence another protocol appeared in our memory, in our database. So IP address, internet protocol, is the kind of address which are which responsibility is to provide addresses to the computer in that format which is based on the decimal numbering system and having the 4 octets. In coming lectures we will definitely explore the real ideas about the IP. But it is the same as we have a cell phone, and when we inserted the SIM card in our cell phone, so we get a number of from our telecommunication company, which we can also use as an address. whenever our friend is trying to reach us or is trying to contact us, so they can dial the number. So address doesn't mean that it's your home address or it's your residential address. Address means in the IT terms in any numeric value on behalf of which you can communicate with other machines, with other internet related devices. So we put IP address on that machine in which cisco.com exists. But assume for a time that it will be really difficult for us if we have 200, 300 or 500 IP addresses in our network. So it would be really difficult. So that's why in our cell phones we are saving our friends number with their names. This number is for Mike, this for Mac, this for Karen, this for this and that. All right. So in a same manner, when I typed cisco.com over there, so how we get this data? Because these machines are already working on the IP address. So it means that there is a database application, there is a database service which map this IP address with this cisco.com. So here now another task appeared in our network, that we need a service, we need a protocol which can map IP address to its DNA, to its real name, like cisco.com. So it's easy for me to remember cisco.com, facebook.com, twitter.com. In other scenario, if we don't have these names, so we must have to remember the IP address, which is totally difficult and which is a crazy idea. So that's why we implement the naming convention. Now we introduce the protocol, and this protocol is called DNS, domain name system. The core responsibility of this protocol is to map IP addresses with their specific names. So after the introduction of the DNS, or when we introduce this protocol to the industry, we don't need to remember the IP address of the machines. We only remember the cisco.com, and then we entered, and then the DNS behind the scene, DNS will track down the IP address of this machine, and the web page will be loaded at our site, and this function will be performed for whole websites very quickly, very fast. Other important aspect of the DNS is whenever you are trying to search on for any specific website, like gmail.com or like study.com or anything else. So behind this searching procedure for the domains, DNS is also working. So there are number of protocols. You can just Google and make a list which are generally used in the network industry. So I hope that you learn the basic ideas about the DNS. Now we are ready to move for another tremendous idea about the protocols.